Welcome to Deep Dive Discussion, where we explore the ideas, strategies, stories, and inspirations that really matter. This podcast is produced by Estayo, the creator of this program. Now let's dive in. You know that feeling, right? That moment you're just stuck waiting.
Oh, yeah. Traffic, maybe? Or a queue somewhere?
Exactly. Or, just waiting for a website to load.
Yeah.
And you get that rising sense of impatience, like your time is just evaporating.
It feels like pure wasted time. Totally frustrating. A really common feeling.
It is. But today, we're going to look at it, well, a bit differently. We're diving into an idea from Estayo Cocoh Lacerna's book, The Unseen Privilege of Complaining.
Okay, interesting title.
Right. And specifically, we're looking at the 11th principle. It goes, it is still a privilege to complain about waiting because someone else's time has already run out.
Wow. Okay, that hits differently. The idea that waiting is a privilege.
Seems counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Our gut reaction is usually annoyance, not gratitude.
Definitely. So the mission here is to kind of unpack that, to shift how we see those moments.
Exactly. To move from frustration towards maybe a bit of gratitude by understanding what waiting really signifies. Ish and Cocoh use some powerful examples.
Yeah. Like what?
Well, Ish tells this story about being in a hospital waiting room. Not for anything routine, it sounds like.
Ah, okay. So a different kind of waiting.
Totally. Ish described this quiet gravity in the room. People weren't sighing about the delay. They were absorbed, anxious, praying even.
Waiting for potentially life-changing news, you mean?
Precisely. And Ish had this realization, contrasting that deep, heavy waiting with, being annoyed about slow Wi-Fi or something.
That contrast is stark.
It really is. It hit Ish that for those people in the hospital, time wasn't just an inconvenience to manage. It was precious, uncertain.
They'd likely give anything for more of it, for more time to wait, in a way.
Exactly. It really makes you think about how our perspective on a few minutes delay is shaped by our broader circumstances, doesn't it?
Absolutely. When things feel generally okay, a small wait feels huge. But facing real uncertainty, every second counts.
Ish and Cocoh also paint this picture of a coffee shop. Someone getting properly furious.
Over coffee. Let me guess, a 5-minute wait.
You got it. Huffy, checking the watch, the whole performance.
We've all seen that. Maybe even been that person sometimes, if we're honest.
Maybe. But Ish poses these questions, looking at this person. Have they ever really faced time running out? Wish desperately for just 5 more minutes with someone.
Puts the coffee delay in perspective.
It really does. That everyday annoyance suddenly seems so small compared to the reality Ish and Cocoh point towards. For some people, the waiting is simply over.
Their time has run out. Full stop.
So the core idea starts to emerge. Waiting itself signifies something.
Exactly, that you still have time.
Yeah. If you're waiting, it means there's still a future, however small. There's an outcome you're anticipating, choices ahead, opportunities.
Right. Waiting for a reply means you expect one eventually. Waiting for an event implies you believe it will happen.
It implies potential, which is the complete opposite for someone whose time is up.
For them, there's no more waiting because there are no more future moments in this life. The possibility is gone.
And Ish and Cocoh push this further. They challenge the idea that waiting is just dead time, wasted.
Okay, how so?
They suggest it can actually be a fertile ground, a space where things we want can develop.
Like what? Answers. Clarity.
Yeah, or waiting for love to develop, or for that aha moment, that sudden understanding. It's not always empty.
That's a really interesting reframe. We see it as a gap, but maybe it's more like incubation. Things happening under the surface.
Could be. And there's personal growth in there too, right? Learning patience, for one.
Definitely. Patience feels like a lost art sometimes. And maybe learning to appreciate things more because we had to wait.
The anticipation building value. So back to that coffee shop person.
Yeah, the impatient one.
Ish and Cocoh point out they probably missed the lesson right in front of them.
Too caught up in the frustration of the 5 minutes.
Right. And Ish contrasts that with, say, a hypothetical grandfather figure who is no longer here, someone who can't wait for coffee or complain about it anymore.
That really underscores the privilege being overlooked, doesn't it? The simple ability to wait.
It makes you realize how constant waiting is. I mean, think about life stages.
Oh, absolutely. Waiting for school to finish, waiting for job news.
Waiting for a diagnosis, waiting for a baby to arrive, waiting for a loved one to come home safe.
It's woven into everything. It's just part of the human experience, really.
And yet, as Ish and Cocoh keep reminding us, it's an experience denied to those whose time has ended.
So the book suggests, what? Just accept it?
More like lean into it. Instead of fighting the wait, actively engage with it somehow.
Okay, lean in. How does that look? Not just fume silently.
Huh, right. Maybe it's about shifting from passive annoyance to something more active, like
Er,
instead of grabbing your phone immediately.
Notice things.
Yeah. Ish suggests using it for reflection, maybe, or just observation. Noticing little details you'd normally miss in the rush. Finding some presence in the pause.
It's a conscious choice to change how you use that sliver of time.
And Ish and Cocoh give some really moving examples of waiting, ones with real weight.
You mentioned the hospital. What else?
Think about a soldier waiting, longing to go home. Or a parent, sick with worry, waiting for a call about their child.
Those are heavyweights. Painful ones.
Incredibly painful. But even then, the act of waiting itself, however agonizing, still holds possibility, right?
Huh.
The possibility of reunion, of good news. It means they're still in the story.
It implies time hasn't run out yet. Hope still exists, even if it's faint.
Which brings us to the ultimate truth-ish in Cocoh present.
Which is?
That for every single one of us, eventually the waiting stops. Time runs out. That door closes.
It's unavoidable.
And knowing that, understanding that principle, is what Ish says changed their own perspective.
How so? In everyday life.
Yeah. Now that traffic jam, that long checkout line, instead of just frustration, it triggers a different thought.
Like a reminder.
Exactly. A reminder. I am still here. I have this time to wait. It's a privilege.
It's about consciously choosing gratitude in that moment rather than irritation.
Right. Actively thinking, okay, I can experience this delay because my time hasn't run out.
So for you listening, the invitation is maybe next time you're waiting. Take that breath.
Yeah. Look around. Instead of fuming, maybe just notice something.
Yeah.
Let it be a moment of reflection.
A reminder, like Ish and Cocoh say, of the sheer fact that you are still here.
And that is everything. Powerful words.
Really powerful. So the big takeaway is this almost paradoxical idea. The ability to wait, the thing we often hate, is actually a profound privilege.
Because it means your time is still unfolding.
It's grounded in that simple, vital reality.
And again, this whole deep dive was inspired by Ish, Estayo, Cocoh, Lacerna, and their book, The Unseen Privilege of Complaining.
Definitely sounds like a thought-provoking read.
It is. Thanks for listening. Grab Ish Estayo's latest book on Amazon. Need business consulting, writing a book, and publishing, or AI? Ish has your back.
You can contact Ish Estayo or leave a comment.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with. How might really seeing the privilege in waiting change how you handle those everyday delays? Something to think about. Until next time, keep diving deep.